Hey everybody, I'm here with Camille Hobby, former Nease basketball star, now joining me today on the podcast. Camille, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Absolutely, no problem.
So I like to start off the interview in a fun way. I'm used to do would you rathers, but this season of my podcast, doing
Like,
which teammates. So first up, I wanted to ask you, there's always music in the locker room before a game, but which teammate plays the best music?
um, I would have to say Diamond Johnson.
All right. Why is that?
Diamond just brings the energy. She loves to dance. She loves music. So that's why I'd have to go with her.
And then which teammate would make the best salesperson?
The best salesperson. Probably Jakia Brown Turner. She's a great talker. Um, she she can really, get the team going. So I feel like she would make a great salesperson, just just talking and just getting everybody to do what you want them to do.
Absolutely. And then the last one I got for you is say you're on the road in a hotel night before a game. Which teammate would you trust to pick the best movie?
I say Sophie Hart. She knows a lot about movies. I don't really watch too many movies, but growing up, I guess she watched a lot with her family, so I trust her.
Are they comedies or are they more, you know,
All over the place.
all
All
over
over,
the place?
all over the place.
All right. And then now on to the more the serious questions about your basketball career here. I wanted to start off by asking you when you first got into the sport and some of your earliest memories in there.
So I moved here. I moved to Jacksonville, and when I was start of my junior year. When I came in, I really didn't know anybody, but thankfully for AAU basketball, I was able to kind of meet people in the Jacksonville area. So when I came in, started and enrolled, I felt a little more comfortable. Coming in, like I said, I didn't know anyone, but I was really excited for the opportunity, the chance to play basketball in a new area. So had a great coach, Coach Sherry, and then also Coach Bloom, Coach Nicole, who really just stepped in and made that difference for me.
Did you play basketball in high school? I think, were you in South Carolina before?
Yep, I was in South Carolina at Daniel High School.
And then did you play varsity there?
I did.
All right. Is that when NC State first started recruiting you, or did they come later on?
They started recruiting me. They had interest probably when I was freshman and sophomore, but I didn't get a scholarship until my junior year.
And then athletics is something that runs big in your family. Your dad played in
Mhm.
the NFL, now an NFL D line coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. Can you talk about what it's like to be in an athletic family like that? And because that's what brought you to the Jacksonville area in the first place.
Right. I think it's important for my family that we separate, my dad being my dad and then him also being a coach. Um, I think that's really important just for our relationship as a father and daughter. So we really don't talk too much about football. I talk to him about basketball, just breathe some things by him, but he just tries to just be encouraging and just be a dad in that role.
He ever coach you up in the driveway?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was younger, we would just have our whiteboard out and he would be teaching me different plays. And I would just really just try to understand the information even at a young age.
Now, you mentioned separating the sports from family, but I was interested. Did you get to go to the Super Bowl last year?
I did not. We had a game, so I was not able to attend. Yeah, I was so upset, but I guess basketball comes before that. So
Oh yeah, no doubt. And back to your high school days at Nice, you were key piece on some of those stacked Nice teams. You had multiple D1 commits and prospects, and you guys just dominated. You lost a combined 6 games over your time there. And every team has an identity, but what would you say the cornerstones of those Nice basketball teams were?
um I think that we were just focused on what we wanted to do. We knew we had the talent, but just breaking it down and looking at even high school, we looked at film, we watched the teams play, we analyzed. So I think that was really our focus, was just being focused on what we wanted to do. That was important to us. So I think that was the key thing for my teams when I was there.
What were some of those things you wanted to do? Was it an emphasis, especially in the game, on defense, dominating offense, fundamentals?
Each game brought a different thing. So, if we have a team we're playing that's really an offensive threat, we need to work on our defense. If the team is very good on defense, what can we do on offense? So things like that.
And at Nice, what would you say some of your favorite memories from your time there are?
Um, just looking back on just how much fun playing in high school. I mean, when you're in high school, there's not a lot of stress. You just kind of just go to school and play basketball and then come back home. So that's probably some of my greatest memories is just doing that, just being around the girls on the team and my coaches. Those are some of the best experiences for me. And then going to the state championship was definitely a key moment, and not a lot of people get to say that. And I'm blessed to be able to say that I did that in my high school career.
And I read an article that it talked about your work ethic off the
Mhm.
court. And one of the things that stood out to me that I feel like you don't see much with post players is your ability to shoot from the free throw line and to shoot in general. You hit a big game winning three last year, NC State, I believe. Can you talk about how you kind of form that work, honed in on your craft at the free throw line? And has that always been something you've emphasized in your game?
I think when I moved to Jacksonville is really when I emphasized it. I knew I wanted to play in college, but I don't really think I understood how much work it was going to take.
Mhm.
Um, when I very first moved there, my teammate Grace Byer, she always worked extremely hard at Nease. And even though I was older than her, I really saw how hard she was working. And I was like, wow, like, really need to start working even harder. So that's really what I started to do.
If you could go back and give your younger self just one piece of advice in terms of basketball, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. I would just go with the flow. I think sometimes when you're playing, you're kind of worried about your future. You're worried about, oh my God, like what's gonna happen? Am I gonna get that scholarship? Am I gonna do okay? Am I gonna play okay? And the knowledge that I have now is just going with the flow, just being happy. Don't worry about anything. Just have fun. I mean, when you work hard and you show up, great things are gonna happen. And I wish I would have known that my younger self.
And when NC State offered you that scholarship, was it kind of clear from the beginning that's where you wanted to go?
Absolutely. I always knew I wanted to go to NC State. I remember when I was in eighth grade, I I told one of my teachers, I was like, I want to go to NC State. And he looked at me and said, well, then go. Well, then do it. So ever since that moment, I always knew I wanted to go to NC State and have a career there.
What are some of the biggest differences playing at the college level, whether it's off the court practices versus the amount of travel you have, and compare that to your high school days at Nice?
Okay, so travel is completely different. I mean, in high school, you're traveling on a bus, uh, locations that are probably within 40 minutes. I mean, in college, we have the games that are close, we bus to, but the games that are further away, we fly. We have charter planes. So that's probably the biggest difference. We have our luggage, we have hotel stays, food being catered to us, and that's completely different.
um the grind of a season, especially once you get into like January, February, those big moments in a season, getting into conference play, how do you um balance school with your game on the court? Because I can imagine traveling all around the country, that can be a challenge at times.
Yeah, you have to definitely have great time management skills. Coming into college, I kind of had that solidified down, so it really wasn't that big of an issue for me. If I have stuff due during the week, I try to get it done probably the weekend before and just space it around the games and travel.
What aspect of your game would you say has improved the most over your time at NC State?
Mhm. I think it's definitely an adjustment. The players are a lot more skilled, a lot bigger. So having to work around taller and bigger players was definitely different. But I was lucky enough to play against a lot of post players this past year and the 2 years before that were bigger and stronger. So I really just learned from them skill wise, but also was able to advance in that way.
You're going to be stepping into a much bigger role than you have in the past at NC State this year, especially your star player on the team leaving. You're going to be filling her role, I read. And, when you're used to your first 3 years, you're kind of a player coming in, filling in depth. And now this year, stepping into a key role on the team. How are you preparing yourself mentally and physically for that?
Absolutely. So I've always viewed myself as a starter ever since I stepped foot on NC State. I always viewed myself as that because that's what I wanted to be. So I think I've prepared myself for three years, even coming into this year. I've always viewed myself as a person on the team that could contribute. I've always viewed myself as a starter. So, and I've put in so much work with my coaches and with my teammates that I'll be ready.
Absolutely. And your team last year at NC State, one of the best in school history. You got to be a big part of that and, playing good minutes every game. And, looking back on that season, what were some of the most special parts about it for you?
I think just having NCAA tournament that was more normal.
Mhm.
My freshman year, it got canceled because of COVID. My sophomore year it was really weird because we were in Texas and we couldn't leave our hotel room because of COVID as well. So then this year we were able to host the first 2 rounds of the tournament, and it was a lot of fun to have. Well, my family was there. I know other girls on the team had their families there, and just have the fans. The fans are so important, especially when you're trying to make it to the 4 locations. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
NC State has a great fan base of, uh, that's one of the things that comes up when you mention your program. And last year, one of the best seasons in program history, made it to the Elite Eight for only the second time in school history. How do you guys get back to that spot this year and hopefully take it even further into the tournament?
It just starts with practice. It starts with work. We go back to school August 22nd. So the start of that week, we'll get back to practice and working out. Um, I think that each year brings a different team and brings new challenges. But I think that the girls that we have on the team are very strong-willed, and I think that we continue to work. I think that things will be in our favor.
You got any personal goals for this season?
Um, my personal goals is to just be a better me, um, whether that's just anything. I mean, I've been working hard at progressing my game. I've been shooting my threes, getting my post work, conditioning, and also in the weight room. So my personal goals is just bring a different level of me. I believe in myself. I'm confident, and I know what I can do.
All right. Well, that's all I got for you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of the podcast. And thank you, Camille, for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, no problem.